October of 1870 in Labette County, Kansas was a curious time. If you had passed through, you would have likely met a family of spiritualists known as the Benders. They operated a general store along the Great Osage Trail, which passed directly through the county. Weary travelers and aspiring pioneers alike could stop by for goods, a meal, or even spend the night. It was, for many, quite the welcome sight. But there was a much darker side to this family. Within the next 3 years, reports of missing persons in the county would become so common that travelers were warned to avoid it altogether. But what was truly happening inside that seemingly warm general store, staffed by a welcoming family of supposed German immigrants who readily offered weary travelers a night's stay and a home-cooked meal? Well, I'm Jake Storielli, and in today's episode of Laughs from the Past, we'll dive into the mysterious story of the dark side of a quiet family living in the middle of the 1870s Labette County. Laughs from the Past, go.
Welcome back to Laughs from the Past. My name's Jimmy, and this is Jake, and this is Season 8 of Laughs from the Past, The Wild West. Fantastic intro by young Jake. I don't know if it's because we're finally in the same room again, and we got these mics, but that sounded, like, sexy.
I've had a lot of practice now.
Yeah, episode 12 of doing that accent.
Like, I think I have an actual resume to do, like, the voice of a Western documentary or something.
You're there.
Yeah.
VO. That's what the industry term is.
VO.
So, like, be like, if you need any Western VO, I'm your guy.
What other letters are in there? Or is it just VO?
Voiceover.
Voice-over.
VO. That's the term.
Makes sense. I didn't know if you were spelling, like, VO. V-I-O.
Oh, like via?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
No. I was just saying VO. All right. Well, I've heard about this, not in detail. I think American Horror Story did something on this. I think there's a Netflix movie coming out, but I've heard about this family, the Bloody Benders, which is a great name.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucked up. So I'm excited to dive deep because I don't know like the gritty details. We've got murder and death again. So producer Noah wrote this, and he likes to make us squirm. So that should be fun. And we are giving a lot of credit to an article called The Bloody Benders, America's First Serial Killer Family by Miss Kelania. How would you say that? Solania?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is tough, man, because we did the first serial killer, now we're doing the first serial killer family.
Yeah, this is like a horror.
Fun.
This is a horror movie. Like a plot.
It's
to a horror
perfect.
Movie. Yeah,
it's perfect.
It is a plot.
You're in the middle of nowhere. I think we heard the word weary twice in the intro, which is a key part.
Weary.
It's a key part.
Yeah.
Because if you're feeling spry and a German family tries to kill you, you know, hey, mano v mano. If you're weary, it's kind of a bummer.
My mic's too high.
There you go.
Okay, here we go.
Many various tilting options.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
The family. In 1870, a group of new families moved to the wind-ravaged plains. That's a great wind-ravaged. The plains were messed up, man. Just nothing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Near what would become Cherryvale, Kansas. They were spiritualists, a religion that was foreign to the homesteaders already in the new state. But locals tended to accept newcomers without asking too many questions. 2 of the families moved away within a year, discouraged by the difficult conditions, and the others kept to themselves. But the Benders were different.
That's pretty fun, by the way. And
I gotta say, if you move to the plains to live in the middle of nowhere, you don't ask someone else, why are you here? Because you know the answer. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you're messed up in the head, you hate society, or you're running away from demons. Well, like, no one moves there just like, oh, we thought it'd be fun.
I think that's the fun part for me. I wonder what the two families who moved within a year, I mean, are we talking 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year on the nose? What was the discussions within the family? Like, you know, you're 1 month deep and you're like, this kind of blows. What kind of time frame are we putting on this? Or did, I'm picturing the
first wind comes and you're like, whoa.
I'm picturing the father being like, hey, I know this is a new town and maybe you're not liking it yet, but give it some time. And then just 8 months, just the windiest day. Like, fuck this. We're moving.
We're getting ravaged by this wind.
You want to hear it? You were right. This place sucks.
Oh, brutal.
Thanks to all our Kansas listeners.
At first, they appeared to be a somewhat normal family. John Bender Sr. Isn't John Bender the guy from Breakfast Club?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. And his troop settled near the Great Osage Trail, later known as the Santa Fe Trail.
Good name change.
Osage or Osage is the Indian tribe that got fucked by the U.S. government, and there's a movie coming out, Killers of the Flower Moon, about them. Amazing story. Also tragic and terrible.
Yes.
So they changed it to the Santa Fe Trail, over which innumerable travelers passed on their way to the west. The old Bender, called Pa, obviously, made a claim for 160 acres in what is now Labette County. His son John claimed a smaller parcel that adjoined Pa's land, but never lived on or worked it. The Benders also included Ma.
Yep.
Obviously, that's how families work.
Yeah.
Usually if there's a Ma and a Pa. And a daughter named Kate, who advertised herself as a spiritualist, medium, and healer. Ma and Pa reportedly mostly spoke German, although the young Benders spoke fluent English. So, the only interesting tidbit here is that John Bender bought up some land and did nothing with it.
Whoa. We got a medium on our hands.
Oh,
That's not interesting?
That goes in one ear, out the other for me.
Whoa.
No. She claimed to be a medium.
She advertised herself as a medium and a healer.
I think it's kind of, like, I might be wrong here, but that seems redundant. If you're a spiritualist, I just assume you think you're a medium and a healer. You're in tune with the spirits.
Well, okay, I think we need to separate a couple things, because I think spiritualist is the religion here.
Is it a religion, or is it just what they say they are?
They were spiritualists, a religion that was foreign to the homesteader. So I'm not sure. From what I know, it's currently a religion.
Yeah, I think it is.
What a weird time period, man. Like, these people probably didn't have much, but if you went to Labette County, you get 160 acres. What?
Yeah, but he didn't even do anything with it.
Sure, I wouldn't either. $160 acres?
Oh, okay. So we're both right. It is a religion, but it is super redundant because spiritualism is a system of belief or religious practice based on supposed communication with the spirits of the dead. So, like, of course you're a medium. That's what you believe in.
But a healer, I mean, that's a whole nother skill set. So Kate's pretty skilled.
Yeah. However, as they settled in, their neighbors, upon closer inspection, began to view the Benders in a negative and suspicious light. I think it's suspicious when John Bender gets like 100 acres for himself and never does anything with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. The descriptions are tough.
Yeah, you read ahead?
Yeah.
The old man was a repulsive, hideous brute without a redeeming trait. Dirty, profane, and ill-tempered, said one neighbor. How you get close enough to, like, they're not like sharing a sidewalk.
Right? 160 acres? One redeeming trait?
He met him once and he was a dick.
That's tough.
But that is a repulsive, hideous brute. That sucks. Old Mrs. Bender, a.k.a. Ma, was a dirty old Dutch crone. Her face was a fit picture of the midnight hag that wove the spell murderous ambition about the soul of Macbeth, the neighbor wrote in their journal. The neighbor's journal sounds awful.
By the way,
I mean, it's really a burn book. It's like Mean Girls. He's just burning his neighbors left and right.
I've got both of these quotes after the incident,
that was another thing I was going to say there. He clearly wrote this after he found out there were murderers and wanted to be on the right side of history.
And, like, I don't know.
I think he backdated his journal. I think it's all fake.
I mean, a dirty old Dutch crone. That's like racist, right?
Well,
like, that feels like it's cool to say after they're murderous killers.
I don't know if Dutch is a race, but it's definitely ist.
Right.
Dutchist. I Googled dirty old Dutch crone, Google images, and nothing really comes up. Some ships.
You did search that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why dirty old Dutch crone. Is it crony? Like when someone's like, are you hanging out with your cronies?
I think that stems from it, but I think it's just crone, which is an old woman who is thin and ugly.
Okay.
They made a word for that.
Damn, yeah.
Like, why do you have
really needed that?
Is there a word for an old woman who is fat and ugly?
Probably.
Can you do reverse definition search?
I think you'd want. Well, it's not exactly a reverse definition, because then it would be a beautiful fat woman.
No, I want to search the definition, and then a program gives me the word. So I'm searching an old woman who is fat and ugly. Google image. This should be good. Oh, that sucks. It's nothing but fat, ugly woman, which makes sense. So anyway, her face was a fit picture of the midnight hag that wove the spell murderous ambition. Like, he definitely wrote that after he found out she was a murderer.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, in the pictures we have here of old Mrs. Bender, and I'll Google it, like, she looks fine.
Mr. Bender looks hot.
Okay, I have a different picture that I don't know if you're gonna like this picture of him. Or maybe you will, because it's crazy underbeard.
Dude, that looks like a regular beard
and then
with an underbeard.
It looks like he can grow beard.
Which I kind of like.
He can grow beard all over his face.
But he prefers the underbeard.
He trims the cheeks and lets the under just grow long.
I mean, this is, besides the double beard, he's a normal-looking guy of the times, so that kind of confirms the journal was post-dated.
This article makes him look like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
He looks rugged.
Well, he lives in the fucking savaging winds.
So did, like, everyone out west.
She doesn't look like a crone to me.
Wasn't a great picture for her, I'll be honest.
I can
be honest about that.
Well, she's a murderer. All right.
Oh, we're getting to Kate.
Kate was of particular concern. She professed to be a medium of spiritualism. See, I'm not understanding they're the same thing. And delivered lectures on that subject. To who?
So she's saying, like, if a pastor or someone says God talks to them and that's God coming through the Catholic Church or however it works, not well versed in the topic, she's a voice of the spiritualism religion.
So hold on. I could be a spiritualist, but I don't talk to God. I just believe that
I'm a spiritualist. Yeah,
that's every religion.
You just believe that it's possible. She's the one who can actually do it.
That's every religion. That's what they think priests do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Ed Zachary.
Well, Ed Zachary.
I got some jokes with that.
In her lectures, so who's she giving lectures to? They live in the middle of fucking nowhere.
So that's where
just like a bunch of cats and goats on the farm.
I'll go at producer Noah's neck on this one. Because like we've got them currently, the town has seen them enough to call them wretched people after they've clearly murdered people. Who is listening to her speeches?
I think it's the animals.
In this, like, empty town in Kansas. 160 acres is a lot.
I don't know. But anyway, in her lecture, she publicly declared that murder might be a dictation for good, that in what the world might deem villainy, her soul might read bravery, nobility, and humanity. She advocated free love, that seems different than everything else, and denounced all social regulations for the promotion of purity and the prevention of carnality, which she called miserable requirements of self-constituted society. She maintained carnal relations with her brother. Does that mean sex?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it says yes.
Thanks, no.
Confirmed.
And boldly, well, but who else is she going to bang, to be honest? She's giving lectures to a fake audience. She's clearly crazy.
What's carnal mean?
Sex. Noah confirmed it.
And physical, especially sexual needs and activity. Nice.
And she boldly proclaimed her right to do so in the following words found in her lecture manuscript. Oh, so her lectures is just her diary. I get it.
That makes more
She's
sense.
just writing her manuscript and calling it lectures. That adds up.
Over here, I Googled the first open mic night. Because I didn't know. I didn't know if towns did that. Like,
that
hey,
is not how you would search.
Like,
That is not
we don't know what we're doing, but everyone come down and you could take a turn speaking to people. That's what I thought.
So when she wrote in her lecture manuscript journal diary about fucking her brother, she
Okay.
said,
Wait, so we've got a young female in Kansas of German descent. Computer. Shall we confine? Nope.
that's
Sh-
not.
Shall. Okay. Started going Hitler. Shall we confine ourselves to a single love and deny our natures their proper sway, even though it be a brother's passion for his own sister? I say it should not be smothered.
That was British.
It was British. It wasn't accurate,
Yeah.
but it happened.
How do you do a German accent? Shall we confine ourselves to a single love?
Is it kind of rude that if anyone starts doing a German accent, they start going like Hitler ham?
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
Also, I just think I just did a mean accent. Producer Luke's
Producer
saying,
Luke
move on.
thinks we're in a dangerous territory.
All right, so anyway, to sum up Kate, she gives lectures to the family pets. She bangs her brother, and she contradicts herself, and she threw so much stuff out there that I don't know what she stands for and is against. Because she's like, I think we should murder people, but free love's also really cool.
Right. Bang who you want.
Dude, she would have been a great member of the Manson cult.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe she died and then reincarnated herself as Squeaky from the Manson cult.
Didn't Manson start out in the Midwest?
Probably.
Wasn't there a Midwest connection?
Maybe.
So,
He's definitely not from California.
and he's probably a spiritualist. But he didn't even know
He
it.
didn't know it. Yeah, but he is. Charles Manson is from Cincinnati. Okay. All right. So suspicions are arousing.
Not in the carnal style for all our listeners.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Within the house, the group soon built a one-room home equipped with a canvas curtain that divided the space into two areas. Within the house, the group built a one-room home? A bedroom.
The group built a one-room home equipped with a canvas curtain to divide this. So
They fucking
Hey.
hung a curtain in a bedroom to split up a room.
the group is also known as family still,
The
to the best of
family.
my knowledge.
This is such a confusing sentence.
And
It's
so we divided the house in two. Okay.
It's like when you...
Oh, no. Okay, there's more.
Okay. The front was a public inn and store, and we got to keep reading.
Yeah, that's our biggest flaw.
The front was a public...
Confirmed.
The front was a public inn and store, and the family quarters were in back, behind the canvas quilt thing. Travelers on the trail were welcome to refresh themselves with a meal and resupply their wagons with liquor, tobacco, horse feed, gunpowder, and food. Kate, who was reportedly attractive
Carnal.
and outgoing,
Feeling carnal.
also drew customers to the inn with her supposed psychic and healing abilities,
Nah, I think
aka
she
her
was
tits
hot.
and ass.
Hey.
These men who usually traveled alone, often spent the night. So they had a bed and breakfast and a bit of a convenience store in the middle of the ravaging.
I was gonna say, we've been poo-pooing on Kansas in the 1870s. Imagine. But hey, if you got liquor, tobacco, horse feed, gunpowder, and food, I can work with that. I could get through a weekend with that.
I'm looking up pictures of Kate Bender now. Dude, Bender official trailer on Netflix.
Bender? Barely know her.
She ugly.
Hey.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but she's not attractive. In the one picture we have of her. But she's not making the most attractive face.
You had to see her, man.
Yeah. I could see a different picture being like, not bad. But this one, whatever. She's a weirdo.
I got tagged in something yesterday that was an Instagram post that said, "Are you prettier in picture? Are you better looking in pictures or in person?"
Yeah.
And then the response under it was, "I'm funny."
What?
Like it's a joke that
that you're not either?
Either way.
Someone responded to you then?
Yeah.
Who tagged you in that?
Heather.
That's a rude tag.
It's a rude tag.
That's a rude.
It was a rude tag.
So
that's what I'm trying to get across.
She just basically said, "You're ugly?"
Right.
Like she saw a meme. That's so mean.
Yeah.
When's the last time you talked to her?
Daily.
Heather,
She's a friend.
Which Heather?
It's a joke.
Which Heather?
Heather Armel.
Oh,
You don't
I was
know
thinking
her.
Heather T. And I was like, that's
Haven't
so.
spoken to her
That's
in
what I was
decades.
saying. That's
No.
so rude.
Yeah. That was a good joke.
Okay.
It stung.
Oh, okay. That's mean though.
It's mean.
Yeah. The trail was a dangerous place, and there were many reasons for travelers to go missing on their way out west. Bandits, accidents, conflicts with Native Americans, disease. But over the course of several years, more and more people went missing around the time they passed through Labette County. In May 1871, the body of a man named Jones, who had his skull crushed and his throat cut. I've never really heard throat cut. Usually it's like slashed or sliced, but cut could just, I've done that before shaving. Was discovered in Drum Creek. The owner of the Drum Creek claim was suspected, but no action was taken.
We tried our best.
Who owns this creek?
Did you kill this man? No.
No.
All right.
I may own that creek, but I didn't kill
I
that man.
trust you.
Okay, cool. You understand you were a suspect.
I
I get
believe.
it, yeah. But no action was taken. In February 1872, the bodies of two men were found who had the same injuries as Jones. By 1873, I'm just laughing that the cut on the throat is just like a tiny little nick, but the skull's completely crashed, and they're like, well, I'll make sure you write down that the throat got a little scratched.
It got something.
By 1873, reports of missing people who had passed through the area had become so common that travelers began to avoid the section of the Great Osage Trail.
No, it's the Santa Fe Trail.
That passed through the county. Smart. It's like in the first serial killer when they were on Dead Man's Canyon. Like, okay, let's not go there anymore.
Sure.
They should have renamed the trail Throat Cut Trail.
Head Crush Trail.
Yeah. Cutthroat.
Head Crush. You still have it as a nick, even though the
Tiny
throats were
little
slashed.
Tiny little dick.
They
were cut.
You have a tiny little dick. Whoa. Audio in here's tough. Man, so feel like I've got an idea where the story's heading. Don't. Well, read ahead, Noah. Shut up. How many of these stories aren't known, man? Like, think about, we're seeing bodies in creeks and stuff. They owned 160 acres.
Mm-hmm. There could be a whole pit somewhere.
Just dig a fucking hole. Done.
Yeah, I hope we get to like the disposing of the bodies.
I think it'll come up in this story, but I'm saying how many unknown stories are there?
Yeah.
How many pits in Kansas are there? We'll see.
Yeah.
We won't see, but
It usually took time for such disappearances to draw attention. Mail and news traveled slowly, but that all changed in March of 1873 after a well-known physician from Independence, Kansas, named Dr. William York, Drork for short, seemingly disappeared after getting off the train at Cherryvale. Dr. York had two powerful brothers who were determined to find out what happened to him. Colonel Edward York and Kansas Senator Alexander York. That's cool. Really proud of the York parents. They raised a doctor, a colonel, and a senator.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Who's the most impressive there?
I didn't read ahead. Eileen Senator.
Oh, I think that's the bottom.
I guess I'm colonel, but I think colonel at the time was probably easier to get to.
I actually think doctor's the best.
I mean, best. That's a tough unit of
I
measurement.
think you're just thinking what you would want to be.
I'm going by rarity. Like, there's a lot
colonel
of doctors.
Then. Colonel. There's a lot of senators out there who are just dumb people.
Again, you've changed the scale a
Yeah.
little bit. I think there's a lot of colonels. I think senators a pretty limited number back.
Jimmy is ranking it up based upon what he would want to be.
No, I just...
He's going
If
best.
someone tells me
No,
I'm a
he's going.
senator, I'm not impressed. I'm like, oh, you're one of those...
Because you don't care
You're-
about politics, though.
Yeah, you're one of those weirdos.
I think we're missing in the 1870s, there was not 50 states. And if there's 2 senators a state, there was definitely, in terms of quantity, the least amount of senators versus doctors and colonels. If we're just looking in terms of numbers,
So you're on...
Everyone's on side senator,
I'm on senators.
I'm on Edward York's side, colonel.
and that's fine. That's a clear number 2. Doctor was last, and we're sorry, but that's why he died.
He died, yeah. Colonel York led an investigation in Labette County. When questioned, the Benders denied all knowledge of York's disappearance. Although when asked about a report of another woman who had been threatened with pistols and knives at their inn, Ma flew into a violent passion. In the words of the Weekly Kansas chief, it's funny if that's an actual chief, and I'm guessing it's a newspaper.
Yeah.
But if they're just
It's being depicted like it's a
each
newspaper.
week in Kansas, they just had a chief of the week.
Mm.
This guy just gets to talk on matters for
And he
1 week.
commented
Yeah,
on Ma.
yeah. Well, what's the chief of the week think? The guy's like, "Fuck, it's Sunday. I just got
Blows.
here."
Yeah.
The Weekly Kansas chief Ma defended herself by claiming that the woman had been a witch. That's a bad defense. A bad and wicked woman whom she would kill if ever she came near them again. That's such a bad defense when being asked if you're a
Yeah.
murderer. But this just served to arouse suspicion about the family, potentially connecting it to the disappearance of Drork. Hold up. I thought Ma didn't speak English. So that's one thing that's
Well,
confusing me.
Speaking
2,
of, well,
if you go to a lady and you're like, "Hey, do you know anything about this missing man?"
yeah.
And they're like, "No, absolutely not." "Well, what about this girl? She says you threatened her." "Well, yeah, I'll probably kill her."
Oh, I would so kill her.
What about
She's a witch.
What about the dude though? Did you kill him? No.
Never.
You
heard of
can't let it out. If you're a murderer, you can't let it out that you're okay with murder. But the daughter's going around giving lectures to the rabbits about how she advocates for murder.
him. Got a nice picture here coming up.
Oh, what is this picture? The town burying men that were found mysteriously at the Great... I don't know if I'm saying Osage right. Osage? Osage? I think it's Osage. Noah, do you know?
I think it's, I have no idea.
I think it's Osage.
Osage?
Osage orange tree. I know that.
Oh, Osage? Okay.
Did a report on it.
You did a porn on that?
A report.
Okay.
On the tree.
Makes more sense.
This picture's weird.
The picture that we're being shown, that's probably not coming through the podcast as we say it's weird. It's the group of townsmen around a bunch of holes in the ground, and it's labeled the town-bearing men that were found mysteriously dead along the Great Osage Trail.
Oh, I have a version of the picture here that doesn't have the weird, fish lens on it.
Okay.
And it's Osage.
Damn it.
I'm the best.
Good try, Luke.
They're just kind of standing around. Dude, look at how windy that must have been. There's nothing.
So windy.
Around the same time, the township held a meeting at the Harmony Grove schoolhouse. Both male benders were in attendance. The townsfolk decided to search every homestead for evidence of the missing. But the weather turned bad, and it was several days before a search could begin. 3 days after the township meeting, a man named Billy Toll that's a stupid name.
Go to got your tickets to the Billy Toll concert. Excuse me? Sucks.
He was driving cattle past the Bender property when he noticed that the inn was abandoned and the farm animals were unfed. Toll reported the fact to the township trustee, but because of inclement weather, several days lapsed before the abandonment could be investigated. The weather is really fucking things up.
Yeah.
They couldn't just search a house in the rain?
Dude, you've seen when it's windy and nasty. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Like, let's find this murderer. It's raining.
It's pretty gnarly out.
The township trustee called for volunteers, and several hundred turned out to form a search party that included Colonel York. What's several hundred? That's a big town. I thought I was picturing this.
They got nothing going on.
What
else are they going to do?
What are you saying, Luke?
I'm just so confused what this town is. Like, how are they driving by the farm and noticing the animals are unfed, but it's also 160 acres in the middle of 1870 Kansas, and then there's 100 people coming up to help? Like, what?
Yeah,
is the
I'm very
situation?
confused about the...
Times were wild.
We need to see a census of this town in the time.
There was a train stop, apparently, because that's how Dr. Jork got off.
Just York.
Jork.
Dr. York. When the party arrived at the inn, they found the cabin empty of food, clothing, and personal possessions. Though the house was empty, all else seemed normal, until someone came across and opened a trap door in the floor underneath a carpet. What they found beneath it was chilling. But first, a word from our sponsor. If this was a show, that would be where we would put a break. That's scary. Trap doors are cool.
Trapdoors are cool. Not when there's bad stuff under it.
They rarely lead to good stuff.
Trapdoor at the Benders is not cool.
It's probably like a trap door leads to, if there's something to be found, it's probably 90% terrible, 10% amazing. It's gold, treasure, or bodies. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Depends on the people. It's an instant. If you give me the person and then you say the trapdoor, it's a good or bad. Matthew McConaughey, good. Bender's bad.
Would you rather a bookcase, trapdoor, secret door, or like underneath the carpet you go down?
Bookcase, you're not finding murderers there. You're just finding a secret room of sorts. Probably some sexual shit. But a basement, no one's hanging out down there. You're just killing people.
You're a basement guy.
Oh, I love a good basement. Finished basements.
Exactly.
Though the house was empty. Okay. The trap door located behind the curtain in the Bender's private quarters led to a foul-smelling cellar, which was drenched with blood. Horrified, the group lifted up the cabin from its foundations and dug into the ground, yet found nothing. Wait, what? I thought they found all the blood.
Right. There no bodies.
Oh, so it's just the kill site.
Just blood.
The investigation then turned to the garden, which was freshly plowed. Neighbors recalled that the garden always seemed freshly plowed. Okay. Working through the night, the volunteers first unearthed York's body. The back of his head had been smashed and his throat slit, not cut. They went a little step further on this guy. Soon, they found more bodies with similar injuries. Accounts differ about the number of bodies excavated from the site, but totals hover around a dozen. In all, the Benders may have committed as many as 21 murders. This terrible work garnered the family only a few $1,000s and some livestock. They profited off it?
Yeah, I mean, people were traveling. I'm traveling with my horse. I've got $100 on me. So this is what they've netted. And the reason why it comes off a little weird is, I mean, they clearly weren't killing for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, did they just
This wasn't
get more
desperation.
animals all the time and then a body went missing and no one was like, well, they got a fresh horse?
Yeah, good for the Benders.
Investigators later pieced together the group's modus operandi. When a guest would stay at the Bender's Bed and Breakfast Inn, the host would give the guest a seat of honor at the table, which was positioned over a trap door that led into the cellar. With the victim's back to the curtain, Kate would distract the guest. Probably flashed him or something. Yeah, for sure. While John Bender or his son would come from behind the curtain and strike the guest on the right side of the skull with a hammer. The victim's throat was cut by one of the women to ensure death. The body was then dropped through the trap door. Once in the cellar, the body would be stripped and later buried somewhere on the property. Often in the... I always say this word wrong. Can you say it for me?
Orchard?
Orchard.
Just said it right.
After hearing you say it correctly. I say orchard sometimes, which is
sometimes.
bad. Yeah, it's bad. Katie always tells me you said that wrong. More than a dozen bullet holes were found in the roof and sides of the cabin. Law enforcement speculated that some of the victims had attempted to fight back after being hit with the hammer.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call a little bit of BS on this 1870s reporting / insight. The death plan starts out fun. I mean, trapdoor, guest of honor, yes.
The death seat?
Jake, I'm just warning you, read the next paragraph before you dive into this.
Okay, Noah.
Yeah, warning you.
Okay, good
Good
warning.
producing, maybe.
One man, Mr. Wetzel, heard this theory and remembered a time when he had been at the inn and declined to sit in the designated spot near the curtain. His decision had caused Ma Bender to become angry and abusive towards him. And when he saw the male Benders emerge from behind the cloth, he and his companion decided to leave. A traveler named William Pickering told an almost identical story. Their decision to hastily leave out of discomfort almost certainly saved their lives. That's definitely saved their lives.
Yes.
Okay, so do you believe it now?
I believe it. Noah. My qualm was with how speedy the killing would normally be. I mean, we're going hit to the head, trapdoor, slit the throat, game over. This is a family that enjoys killing, and it's over almost instantly? We have a kill cellar?
No.
We have everything.
I think you're getting it wrong, though.
Please.
I think they're banging him on the head, then the mom comes over and slits the throat right away.
Right.
So you think it's too fast.
Yeah, I think there's... we have all the aspects for some torture stuff, for some spiritualism type shit. We're basically doing an insta-kill when we have a trapdoor. We have a basement.
Well, you got to find out the motive.
We have so many more elements to this.
Because their motive might just be to rid these travelers, not like...
Like, just to do instant kill?
Maybe they were slitting the throat like painfully slow.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and there's a chance that's it, but I don't know. I think we need more of a torture aspect.
Ooh. The crimes created a sensation in the newspapers, drawing journalists and curiosity seekers from all over the country. Altogether, the murders are without parallel, read an account reprinted in the Chicago Tribune. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported over 3,000 people at the crime scene, with more trains arriving. A book published in Philadelphia soon after the murders were discovered, called The Five Fiends.
Fiends.
Who's the fifth? Or who's the fifth fiend?
God.
The Bender Hotel horror in Kansas described how large numbers of people arrived upon the scene who had heard of the diabolical acts of bloody murder and rapacious robbery. Hardened men were moved to tears.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest men cry, just to let you know. The house in which the murders took place was disassembled and carried away piece by souvenir seekers. I thought they lifted it up to dig. Here's an 1873 photo of the excavated grave of a victim of the Bender murders.
It's a pretty good picture for 1873.
Yeah, not bad. That house sucks. Look how much nothing there is. Why live there?
Yeah.
Senator York, the lesser of his three brothers, offered a $1,000 reward for the Benders, and the governor chipped in another $2,000, but the reward was never claimed. In the years following the sensational crimes, several women were arrested as Ma or Kate, but none were positively identified. A number of vigilante groups claimed to have found the Benders and murdered them, but none brought back proof. The older Benders were allegedly seen on their way to St. Louis by way of Kansas City, and the younger Benders were supposedly seen heading to an outlaw colony on the border of Texas and New Mexico. But no one knows what ultimately became of them. I have an issue with that.
Okay.
If Kate Bender's out there preaching to the livestock and saying, murder's good,
Right.
I believe murder's good, then you would think that they wouldn't run and hide from this. And they would be like, yeah, we did murder because it was good. And kind of stand by it.
I mean, it's the classic, the rest of society isn't ready for that.
I understand, but you just, I feel
she
like
has to carry on her message by not getting captured
and
by society.
Ma Bender couldn't even keep her head cool ever whenever she talked to anyone. So, how did she hang low for a while?
That's a little suspicious that Ma Bender was never found. Or maybe she was.
I think that they might have killed their mom. She's the clear weak link.
By all rumors, yeah.
The first time an investigator came, she kind of...
Maybe they had a plan.
Yeah.
Why did they move to begin with then? If they weren't going to hide from it, though, Jim. Why did they leave Kansas then?
I just think they would have set up shop somewhere else. She's doing lectures about murder being good. I think it's weird to me that...
Became a national story.
It's weird to me they didn't pop up somewhere else. Investigators were likely hampered by the group's main deceit. None of the Benders were actually named Bender, and the only members who were likely related were Ma and her daughter Kate. Oh, interesting. That's cool.
So she wasn't banging her brother then.
That's awesome.
But she was. That was her whole thing.
Yeah, but
maybe that's all part of the act.
Yeah, her whole diary was all over the place. She did believe in free love. Historians today have gone back and piecing together various immigration forms, property deeds, and first-person reports have determined who the Benders likely were. Pa was reportedly born John Flickinger. What a name. Flickinger?
Yeah.
Dillinger, Flickinger.
You got it.
In the early 1800s in either Germany or the Netherlands. Ma is said to have been born Almira Meek. So, interesting twist. I related this to the Manson family, the Manson cult, and this was a cult. It was just a 4-person cult. Calling people Ma and Pa is very cult-like. All the beliefs, the rituals.
I think you got to finish this paragraph.
Ma was married. Her first husband named Griffith, with whom she had 12 children. Ma was married several times before marrying Pa, but each husband before him reportedly died of mysterious head wounds.
So maybe Ma is the strongest link.
Yeah. Her daughter Kate was born Eliza Griffith. John Bender Jr.'s real name was John Gebhardt, and many who knew him in Kansas said he was Kate's husband, not her brother. Makes a lot more sense. Today, nothing remains to indicate the exact location where the Bender house stood. although there is a historical marker at a nearby rest area. Though rumors still surround the case, some say Ma murdered Pa over stolen property soon after they fled. Others that Pa committed suicide in Lake Michigan in 1884 after 140 years. Why is that? What?
It's another, like, you read that so odd. You read that very odd. Others that Pa committed suicide in Lake Michigan in 1884. After 140 years, although we know what happened to their victims, we'll probably never know what really happened to the Bloody Benders. That hyphen threw you off.
Hyphen threw me off because that's when you connect words together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a double hyphen. It wasn't like a word hyphen.
I've never seen a double hyphen in the wild
It was
before.
connecting thoughts.
A period would have been great.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Noah. Thanks, producers.
Do you like it more knowing that it's like a cult and not a family, or did you like it as like a mother, father, daughter, son?
I'm fine with it being cult. We saw cult stuff throughout, and I think these people had a plan. These people are killers. And I mean, part of me likes that, and yeah, I mean, they had a game plan coming in. We'll go to Kansas. We'll say we're a family. We'll kill a bunch of people. Once we figure it out, we'll leave.
But it seems like Ma was the only real killer. She just killed everybody in her life who didn't join her in killing until she found people that she could convince to kill. So she's just the head Manson in my mind for the story.
Maybe. I feel like we don't know enough. They made a movie about this in 2016. The unsettling true story of America's first serial killing family. They were not a family, though, so we're misleading people. But, maybe it's a twist.
Noah, thoughts?
They are a family. They're just not all related.
I just think there were a bunch of killers that pretended to be a family.
Yeah, it was clearly like, there was their alias? Is that the right word?
No, I mean,
There's
they were
some
killers.
gene pull stuff.
The mom is married to the dad. The mom's daughter is married to her husband. Those are all family members. They're just not.
It's a deceptive family.
Good call.
It's a deceitful family.
I would love to know, like, just day-to-day activities within the Bender family. Like, what would they talk about over breakfast? Like how last night's killing went? Like, do you talk about that?
Luke just blew my... Yeah, I think so. But, like, what Luke's just saying now is really racking my brain. Why didn't they just say, this is our son-in-law? Why'd they make him the brother? It didn't seem like necessary at all.
I mean, it was their cover.
But what's the difference? Like, there's no... Like, if you said this is our son-in-law, like, people would be like, okay, cool.
Right. I think...
It's totally normal that he lives with you.
This was part of their shtick. Maybe this is part of their getaway plan. They had the whole town thinking they were brother and sister. Like, this whole thing was premeditated. I think that's
that's a good
the
call.
biggest part
That's a
that's
good
not
call.
shown in this is that, Almira Meek, the mother,
Yeah.
Ma, a.k.a. Ma, she's killed before. I mean, apparently multiple times. So, like, they had a game plan, and they executed it.
Also, though, like going off that, it said it might just be like a retelling thing where it got messed up because they said people who were close to them in Kansas knew that they were husband and wife. So they weren't really playing it off that well.
I think they only knew they only knew him. They didn't know everyone. I think it said like people that knew the dude said that wasn't her brother, that was her husband. I don't think they knew her or what. I don't know. Like, I don't think they knew the whole family, but who knows? The movie on IMDb got 5.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd like to see it get over 6.
It's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. I'm probably not.
I mean, I'm shocked that, and maybe this is something to look forward to in the future, and probably why I got a 5.8, is there really isn't closure. And I mean, I feel like we need more conspiracy theories. Like, point me in the direction of the couple that killed 3 people in New Mexico, Texas, or wherever the father or the son husband crew went. Like, give me we've got a reported suicide in Lake Michigan. And I'm not attacking producer crew on this, but I feel like there should be more well-defined theories around this.
In the movie, Senator York needs to find these people. And I think it just goes to show that he was a shitty person.
Wow.
A good senator would just, use his network and find his brother's killers. But Senator York clearly didn't have no one liked him, and he had no network. So this comes down to the senator being bad.
What does a good general do?
Colonel?
Colonel.
It's on him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The York brothers blew it.
I think we're not I think when you hear the bloody benders, you think A, great name.
It's a great name.
You think B, you picture them as kind of these like malicious, almost not dumb, but you just picture them as killers when I don't know, there's very clear, well thought out parts to this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like they're not just dumb hicks. The
Right.
alibis and the changes and all that. What's weirding me out is to have all that, why do you let your daughter go out preaching about how murder's good?
It's part of their game.
She didn't go out and preach. It was her written manuscript.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Trying to find anything about this colonel. You think there would be like, a wiki on him? Nothing. Just
Here's
nothing.
what I think we need to wrap up with. Something that used to be an early laughs from the past tradition that's gone away a little bit. In our movie scene,
Mm-hmm.
how does the dinner murder go down?
So the big twist. So first act is just them killing people, right?
Do you think Ma is always tough, or do you think like she's getting close to the kill and she gets cheery? Like she
I
puts
think
on an
she's
act.
quiet.
Okay.
So the way I would do the movie is the first act would them be like killing people, right?
Sure.
And Ma,
I just need the dinner kill scene.
she's not I don't care about that. So,
It's the huge part. It's how Luke just decided we're ending the show.
I was going to movieify it.
We just need the one scene because this needs to be the powerful scene.
When she kills people?
Yes.
Oh, I have that as a montage in my head.
Nobody cares. People need to know how it goes down.
We know that. They sit down.
Right, but with the characters, this is what we're getting into.
Okay.
Mom's demeanor. You were there for a second, and then you were totally lost.
Yeah, I don't think this is the interesting part of my movie.
It's
so
the most interesting part.
She's all housewifey and like nice. Like,
Okay,
I got you a nice
that's
meal.
fantastic.
You're gonna love my pie.
So she
blah, blah.
is getting excited about the kill because she's normally kind of curmudgeon-y from what we know.
Yeah, I would play her as like not the ringleader at all. And I think the big twist in the movie is once they go on the run, the audience gets into like not family. What we did, the way I was
Right.
friends to here. And then she is the ringleader, like bam. And then there's little hints of it throughout. But I think you play it as like she's just kind of like subservient to Pa, who's like got a reason for this,
Sure.
Like there's a reason we're doing this.
Right.
We're ridding
Pa's
evil.
the ugly, no redeeming factors.
We're ridding the world of these characters.
kind of old.
Good end to the movie could be like they finally catch Pa, and there's all these reasons that you think he was one masterminding it, and then you see Ma like walk away out of the
She
corner
gets
with a
away.
smile in her eyes.
Set
and she set the whole thing
The
up.
York brothers. That's what I was going to do. The York brothers catch Pa
Right.
and kill him, and Ma's just like in the background, like being a vicious, what's the word? Crone.
Just a genius.
Yeah. Good movie. Wonder if that's how they did it.
Sorry. Wish we could talk about it, but we're going to leave all our fans disappointed about the murder scene.
I did it.
Tweeted Jimmy. You did nothing on the murder scene.
I said she was going to talk about pie. She's going to be at home.
there's
house.
so many other characters. There's the guest. There's
You do
the
it. You
dad,
clearly
there's-
have something.
And
I
it's
don't.
over. It passed. Thank you for listening. Tweet at John Boy. Make him apologize to you. Check out Little Laughs if you haven't seen that yet. Tighter episodes, kind of one-offy stuff. We're going to be running with that. And Ma, if you're still alive, I guess you could reach out too.
Yeah. You bitch.